I will show you exactly how to create AI persona chatbot on WhatsApp. So you can give it a custom knowledge base of your own knowledge, your own text data, and it's going to answer questions from that text data. Or you can just give it some other kind of personality. It will also be able to sell messages and you're going to be able to put it behind a paywall so people can buy more messages to interact with it. And it will be able to send voice messages and many other functionalities. So here I said, tell me about big 5 personality traits, and it went and looked into my data that I uploaded, and it answered. Here it said, you have 0 messages left, you can purchase 10 messages here, you can make this custom to any amount of messages, any price. And here I said, explain neuroticism, and then
Neuroticism is a personality trait characterized by being prone to experiencing negative emotions such.
There are a lot of different functionalities we are going to add to this chatbot, so let's start. If you want to get the template for this, or if you want to learn to do this all by yourself, or if you want to get help with building additional functionalities or with anything, join our course in the description below or schedule a call with me where I will explain to you why you should join our course and what you will get from it. First step is you're going to search Meta for developers in Google, and then you're going to click this first link. And then you're going to go to My Apps, and we will create a new app. We're going to choose Other, and then click Next. We're going to choose Business, and then click Next. The name is going to be like AI Persona Chatbot, for example. And then we're going to create the app. It's also good to add business account if you want. It's going to ask you for your password, so you just write that, and then once you create it, you go here to WhatsApp and then Setup. And then we're going to click at Start Using API. So this is your test phone number, and then here below you're going to click this, and then you're going to click Add Phone Number button that's going to pop up, and then you're going to add your phone number from your phone that you want to test this with. You need to add a specific phone number that you're going to test this with because this is in development environment. And then you're going to select that phone number and put it here, and then you're going to go to Configure Webhooks. Now we'll go to make.com and either create an account or log into your account. We will go here to Scenarios, and we will create a new folder, and we're going to call it WhatsApp AI Persona Chatbot. This is going to be our folder, just to keep things organized. So we're going to go into that folder, and we will create a new scenario. We will go here and search for WhatsApp. We will use this WhatsApp Business Cloud, and we will choose this one, Watch Events. So this is going to, we're going to add a new webhook. So you can name whatever you want. I named it AI Persona Chatbot Webhook. Webhook is basically a link where we will send the messages that we receive. So when user sends us the message, we're going to send it to this webhook link, and then we're going to process it, and then we're going to send it back to Facebook Meta Developers, our application, which is going to send it to the user. So this is just a link for communication from our Meta application and make.com. We're going to create a connection, and then we need a permanent token and WhatsApp business ID, business account ID. We're going to go back into Quick Start. We're going to say Start Using API, or you can just go here to API Setup. And then we're going to copy this temporary access token. This will expire in 1 day because this is testing development environment. We're going to go back and paste the permanent token here. And then WhatsApp account, business account ID, we're going to copy that, and we will paste that here, and then we will just click Save. Then we will Google search for UUID generator, and then we're going to say online UUID generator, and then we're going to accept cookies, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to press generate and copy. This is just a random string that we need. This doesn't matter what this is, we just need this kind of random string. You can make it yourself, but maybe it's better to use a generator. So back in the make, we are still creating our webhook, so we're going to use this verified token, and we're going to paste that string here, and the events we need is messages, and then we're going to save this. So it's actually really important that you keep this UUID safe somewhere, so because you're going to need it if you want to change these webhooks, or you're going to have to create a completely new application in Meta for developers if you lose this UUID. we will go back to our meta configuration, and we're gonna say configure webhooks in step 3, or you could also just say on the left side, you could say configuration. So now we're gonna say, we're gonna wanna add this webhook, and so we're gonna say edit. Now let's go back to meta. This is the webhook, the URL that we're gonna send the messages to. This is the webhook we created in make.com, and we're gonna send our data to this. This is how we will connect to make.com, and then verified token. This is gonna be our token that we need to set up. And now whenever you want to change this webhook, you're gonna use this same verified token. You're not gonna be able to ever change it, so you should store it somewhere safe. We successfully connected Meta and our WhatsApp app, so we're gonna say run once here, and then we're gonna go back to the Meta, and then we're just gonna send a random message from our phone, from WhatsApp, to this number right here. And then this is going to receive our message, and then we are going to send the message back. So WhatsApp Business Cloud module, and then send a message, and then we need to create a connection. So the permanent token and business account ID again. My WhatsApp AI persona. So this is a connection, and the previous thing was a webhook. So this is going to send to WhatsApp, and the webhook is going to receive from WhatsApp. So we're going to copy our temporary access token, paste it here, and then we're going to copy our business account ID and paste it here and save the connection. So the sender ID is going to be our test number. We're going to skip the receiver ID for now. It's going to be red, and then message type is going to be text, and this is the text that you want to send. Hello, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to press OK. But we cannot press OK because this is required. Or you can actually just put in your own number of your own phone, which you should actually do. And then really important thing that I forgot. So back into configuration, below callback URL, you're going to see webhook fields. You're going to say manage, and then you're going to enable messages on this checkbox, and then say done. Now you can send messages to your webhook, and we wouldn't be able to do it without this field. And also in the beginning, if you don't see this test number in API setup, you're gonna have to create one. And I forgot how I created mine. I think it's just you're gonna have a button, create a number or something. So if you can't figure this out, just comment below, then we're gonna figure it out together. And now if you run this once, wait for new data, if this question pops up, and then you send any kind of message, it's gonna execute, it's gonna send you back hello message on your phone number. And now that we have this kind of information, we can go back and delete your phone number that you set in receiver, and then you're gonna say messages, and then and then you're gonna just click this field, and now it's going to send the message to whoever send the message to the make.com. Is going to return to the same number the message. And now we want to create a custom knowledge base from which our WhatsApp AI persona will take information and answer the messages to users. So for example, if this is, for example, my information, I own this information about psychology, and then I can just put this into my own knowledge base, and then the WhatsApp AI persona bot is going to look into this information and then answer the question that user asked about this kind of topic, psychology or whatever they asked. Now you could do this with Stack AI, but I'm going to show you how to do this for free instead of spending $100 a month on Stack AI. So you're going to come to pinecone.io, we're going to create a new account. Then you're going to click here on the indexes and create an index. The index name can be whatever you want. I'm just going to say test. Dimensions must be 1536. This is 1536 dimensions, and then we're gonna say create index. You're gonna have one index for free on the free tier, and this will be completely enough for you. So this is the vector database. We're gonna store all of our text into this vector database. So we're gonna have a bunch of text. We're gonna split it into smaller chunks, for example, 1,000 letter chunks, 1,000 word chunks, and then we are going to convert those chunks, each of them, into a separate vector. Those vectors are numerical values that represent the meaning of that chunk of text. So for example, if I ask a question, what are 5 personality traits? We're going to convert that question as well into a vector, and then those numbers, that vector is going to have the most similar numbers, most similar values to the chunk of text that's explaining those personality traits. So basically we just compare the vector of the question to the vector of all of the chunks of text, and we're going to find the most similar chunks of text. But you don't actually need to know any of that. I was just explaining how vector databases work. So once you see this green dot here, it means this index is ready. We're going to go to this link, talk-to-text.streamlit.app. This is the application I made for you to convert your text to vectors and put them into the Pinecone database. So as you can see, we're going to need some API keys here. And then you can show instructions and read how this works in more detail, but you don't need to. I'm going to explain everything. There is also another separate video that you can watch right here. So after we get our keys, we're going to literally paste the text that we need, and then we're going to just click embed to database, and then it's going to appear in our vector database. We can also ask a question, but this is separate functionality, so we don't need to use this. You can just ask a question to test how it works. So first, we're going to click on this OpenAI API key. We're going to come to this link, and we're going to create a new key. You can name it whatever you want. AI persona GPT key, for example. Create a new key, and then we are going to copy this key and then go back and paste it here. Then you can either click here to this link, or you can just go here on your Pinecone website and then say API keys. You're going to press copy here, copy key value, and you're going to go back and paste your key value here. And don't worry guys, I'm going to rotate all of my API keys. Whatever I show in the video, I'm going to rotate, so you don't need to worry that somebody will steal my stuff. And then you're going to need this environment. We're going to copy this environment, paste it here, and you're going to need the name of your index that you just gave it. So I gave it name test. We're going to say test. And then we're going to go back to this psychology, whatever text you need. We're going to copy all of the text that we need, all of the information that we need. If you want to copy everything, you say Control A, but that will also select like these kind of side things. So I suggest you do it manually. Then you can just say Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste the text here. Now, if you cannot copy, if you have a PDF or CSV document or some other kind of document, you're going to go here to Google and say PDF to TXT, and then you're going to, this one is good, I think, PDF to go, and then you're going to convert your PDF files into TXT files, and then you're going to copy paste all of the text from each one here. Yes, there is a faster and better way to do this, but I am still trying to figure out the best way. If I just just let you upload PDF files here, it's going to take so much longer than if you manually convert PDF files. But if you have 700 PDF files, for example, then it's going to be a bit hard to manually convert. So stay on the lookout on my channel and to figure out how to convert all of those files at once, so you don't need to convert them manually. So now that we manually paste all of the text, so if you have one file here, you just press Shift Enter or Enter. I think you can just press Enter and then paste another file here again. And then we're going to say, click this button, embed to database. Now, I actually got an error here, and I looked into the error, and the problem was that my dimensions, I mistyped 1535, but it should be 36.6 at the end. So I'm going to have to change this. I'm going to completely delete this index, and then I'm going to create a new index, same name test, it doesn't matter, 1536, and then we're going to create the index. And then I'm going to wait for it to initialize. I was able to figure out this error because I have access to developer environment, but you will not be able to figure out the error because you don't have access to development environment. So if you get these errors here, just copy them into the comments or just explain and tell me, and I'm going to figure it out and fix it. And I don't need to actually refresh the page. I don't need to do anything. Once the index initializes, just embed to database again. And then we're going to wait for some time. It's going to split this text into chunks that I already determined. So if we go here to show instructions, if we scroll down, this is the amount of letters that is going to split the chunks to. And then top K, you can read what these parameters mean if you want to adjust them. But this is just for answering the question. We don't need this top K parameter at all. This is just for testing later. And now if we refresh this Pinecone web page, we're gonna see that we have all of these new entries added. So this is our text getting split into 1,000 letter tokens, and we have all of these entries, and these are the values of their like vectors. We can copy that and see it here. It's not gonna mean anything to us, but we can just see what it looks like. And now we can just to test it, but we don't need to. We can just say what are 5 personality traits, and then I'm gonna say get answer, and then we got the answer. The 5 big personality traits are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, etc. So this basically got the most relevant chunk of text based on the most similar values to the question, because it also turned the question into vector, and then just looked at that chunk of text and passed it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT generated this answer. Made it pretty. Now let's go back to make.com, and we're gonna make this knowledge-based answering. So after we receive a message, we're going to add a module. We need to generate we need to convert the message, the question, into vector embedding. So we're gonna search for ChatGPT here. We're gonna press this OpenAI, and then we're going to make an API call. I forgot to say that if you don't have this connection that I have, you can create a new connection or press this add, and you're gonna just paste your API key from this link, and you can leave organization ID as empty. And then the URL is going to be this /v1/embeddings, and then method will be post, and then content type application JSON, and then we are going to also paste the body. The body must have this exact shape, so it must be these curly brackets, and then input under quotes. It must be double quotes, I'm pretty sure, and then this question also under quotes, then comma, then model under quotes, and then column, and then this exact phrase, text dash embeddings dash ada dash 002 under quotes, and then close the curly brackets. Now I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter, like the spaces don't matter at all, so you can close curly brackets here. You don't need to have all of these spaces, it doesn't matter. So this input key has value. What is this about? So we're gonna delete this whole thing. We're just gonna leave the quotes, and then we're gonna give it. So we're gonna click messages here, and then text, and then body. So we're gonna give it the message that we received. So the input is gonna be message that user sent, and it must be under quotes, and then model, this is gonna be the model, and then OK. So now this module is gonna convert the message that user said, or the question that user said, into OpenAI embeddings, into embeddings vector, and then we're gonna compare that to our Pinecone database inputs. Then we're gonna go here and add a module, and then we're gonna say Pinecone. We're gonna select Pinecone, and then we will query vectors. Now I already have a connection, but if you don't, you're gonna create a connection or click this add, and then index name is gonna be, now this is gonna be a bit different. So first we're gonna go back to our API keys, and we're gonna copy our API key and paste it here. And then we're not gonna give it index name, we're gonna give it a bit differently. So we are going to copy this entire link here. We're gonna do this, and then we are going to just delete this part, and then the first part as well. So we're gonna have this part without .pinecone.io and without HTTP, and this part. We're gonna save. So now we would pass the vectors here, but we don't have any vectors to pass in, so we're gonna first click run once here. There is some error, so we're gonna unlink this part, and then we're gonna say run once again and wait for new data. So we need to get some vectors. So we're gonna just send a message on our phone to this, and then we can see a little bit of problems. So for me, it says 401 incorrect API key provided. That means that I deleted the API key for this connection. So we're gonna add a new connection, and I'm gonna say AI persona OpenAI connection, API key here, and then save. I'm gonna press OK, and then I'm gonna run once and then wait for new data. And I'm just gonna send any kind of message to this number that we already did. And it's gonna give proper vector embeddings. And now we can see that if we click here, we're gonna see that output, we have body, data, and then go here. And then these are the embeddings that my message was converted to. Now we're gonna connect this to Pinecone. We're gonna go to Pinecone, and then vector is going to, okay, so this isn't working for some reason. So I go ahead and press save, and then I refresh the page. And now if we click to Pinecone and then add the new vector value, we can see that we have all of this information now. So we're gonna say body expand data, expand embeddings, and now just click embeddings. So we're gonna send the embeddings. But also make sure to click this map, so you map embeddings vector of OpenAI to the vector of Pinecone. It's important to scroll down and say include metadata, yes. And then limit, let's just say 1 for now. So we're gonna return 1, or let's say two most relevant chunks of text. And then we're gonna pass both of them to GPT so it can generate answer based on both of them. I recommend maybe 2 or 3, I'm just gonna say 2. Next, let me actually unlink this. And I'm gonna just move this here, and then I'm gonna run this once. We need to do this, and then we are going to send the message to our chatbot. And here we can see that Pinecone returned 2 bundles, bundle 1 and bundle 2. Those are the 2 most similar chunks of text. And then if we expand this metadata, we're gonna see the chunk of text that it returned. And then if we expand this metadata for the second bundle, we're gonna see the other chunk of text that it returned. Now what I wanna do is send both of these chunks of text to GPT and tell it, this is the user question, and then the message that I sent, and then these are the relevant text, and then send these chunks of text and then say, formulate the answer to the question that user sent to GPT, and then send that GPT generation back as a message on WhatsApp. But the problem here is that Pinecone first returns this bundle 1, and then after that it returns this bundle 2. It doesn't return them together. So the first time it returns bundle, it's gonna execute whatever comes next, and then the second time it returns, it's gonna execute again. So if we are sending messages, we're gonna send 2 messages. First time is gonna be first part, second time second part. We want to actually combine all of those documents together. So for that, we're gonna go to Tools, and then Text Aggregator, and we're gonna put it here. I'm gonna click here, and then source is gonna be this query. The text that we will aggregate is in metadata text. So it's gonna aggregate all of the metadata, all of the entries, but we also wanna show advanced settings, and we're gonna say row separator other, and we're gonna say \n, and then a bunch of these, and then \n. So basically, I'm gonna just put this whole thing in between all of the chunks of text for GPT to understand easier that those are like kind of different separate things, but you don't need to do this. GPT is smart enough, but I'm just gonna separate it with this. And \n is a sign for a new line usually. So GPT is gonna understand this as a new line, but it kind of doesn't matter what this is. I'm just gonna separate it so GPT kind of has an idea. Those are kind of separate things, separate texts. I'm gonna press OK. And then let's go back to this sending WhatsApp message. So now I'm gonna scroll down, and in the body I'm gonna delete whatever there was, and then I'm gonna press this text from Tools. So I'm just gonna send our 2 chunks of text as a WhatsApp message to see what it looks like. So we're gonna add actual answering, GPT answering later. First we're just gonna send this text to see what it looks like. And I'm gonna press run code, wait for new data, and then I'm gonna send some message to on my phone. And I got the response on my phone, and I cannot show you right now. So I can actually show it to you here. So this is, I was just sending these messages on WhatsApp. This is the web.whatsapp.com. And then I'm gonna say read more. So this is the first chunk of text that we got. No, this is the first chunk of text. This is the separator that we made. And then this is the second chunk of text. And GPT is actually gonna understand that this is separator, because usually it's gonna understand that I'm like saying this is a new line here, and then this kind of separated a little bit the new line, so it's going to understand, see this as kind of different things. Now that we are able to retrieve these most relevant chunks of text, we're going to send this to ChatGPT. We're going to also send it the user question, and then we're going to tell it to answer the user question based on this text. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to create a new module. It's going to be this ChatGPT and create completion. Then we're going to wait for a moment, and the model is going to, so create a chat completion, and then model is going to, I recommend this one. So this one is cheapest and best. If you need a lot more tokens, you're going to use this one. 0613 models are newest, or if you like want GPT-4, but GPT-4 will not do this job better than GPT 3.5. It's very similar. If you know how to prompt them properly, it's very similar for me. Maybe for somebody else it's not, but GPT-4 is also around 10 to 15 times more expensive, even 20. So I just recommend this one. And then we're going to say messages, add item. Role is going to be system. And then answer user question based on data I provide. And we're going to add another message, and then role will be user. And then I'm going to say user question, and then new line, and then I'm gonna go here and then messages in our WhatsApp messages, text body. This is the user question. We will pass it relevant information, or let's say relevant documents text. It doesn't matter. But we're gonna go here and then pass in this text that we aggregated from relevant documents. And then we're going to say answer and then column. And then that's going to be okay. Then here in our WhatsApp, instead of sending the text that we aggregated, we're going to send it choices, message, and then content. Press OK. Just to explain what this user role means, so these roles actually don't mean anything. You are supposed to say, like under system, you say, you are help wall assistant, answer user questions, like give it task under system, and then you under user role is whatever user sends, under assistant role is whatever ChatGPT generates, but it does not matter. It's going to understand if you say assistant, it's smart enough, it's going to understand like it needs to answer questions. It doesn't matter what role you set in. This is like, I just do this because they meant it this way. So now let's test this. I'm going to say run once, wait for new data, and I'm going to go back here. And then tell me about 5 personality traits. And then we're going to see here it's working. And then it's going to ChatGPT and it's going to formulate the answer. It takes a bit longer for some reason. It's going to be a long answer maybe. The big 5 personality traits. Okay. If this is too long of an answer, you can go here into system message and then explain answer in 1 to 4 or 1 to 3 sentences. No to verbose answers. For example, you can just edit this message, but as I said, you can literally put all of this even like here before. It's going to understand like what you mean, everything. So it doesn't matter where and how you explain this. Next, we are going to set up voice messages in response. So our ChatGPT generation gets converted to voice and gets sent as a voice message to our user. We're going to come here, expand, and we're going to right-click, add a module, and then search for 11 Labs. Create a speech synthesis. Go to 11labs.io, and then we are going to subscribe to a $5 a month plan. It's going to cost you only $1 the first month, because otherwise we cannot request API calls from make.com, because they're going to block this IP address, because everybody is making requests from make.com, so they're going to block that IP address because they think somebody is making multiple accounts and abusing their API. So you need a $5 a month subscription. If you want to generate these voice messages in a different way other than 11labs.io, you can either ask ChatGPT, look on Google, or you can join our course and we will help you. After you purchase the $5 a month subscription, you're gonna go here to profile, you're gonna reveal your API key, and you're gonna copy it, and you will go back to make.com, and then you're gonna create a new connection, and then I'm gonna call it AI persona chatbot connection, API key here, save. You can choose from a bunch of these different voices. I'm gonna choose Rachel. The model will be 11 multilingual V2, for example. Text is going to be our choices, messages, and then content. And everything else stays the same. Then we're gonna create a new module, WhatsApp API, WhatsApp Business, and then upload the media. So we're gonna get MP3 file from 11 Labs, and we need to upload it to WhatsApp before we can send it as a message. So we're gonna say, we're gonna disable this map, and we're gonna choose sender ID here, and then we're gonna map here. Now this data, for me, if you don't have data here, you're just gonna say data here from 11 Labs. So this is the data in bytes, and file name is gonna be, it doesn't matter, but voice.mp3. Now it's important for it to have this .mp3. And so it's going to take this data in bytes and convert it to MP3 and then save it to WhatsApp's cloud, and then press OK. And then this message, we're going to change this from text to audio, and then media ID is going to be this media ID from our previous node, only once. So what this node, upload the media, is going to do is going to upload this file onto the WhatsApp's cloud, and it's going to return media ID for that file, so you can send it. If I go ahead and run this once, wait for new data, back to WhatsApp, and then I'm going to say, what are 5 personality traits? If we go here, we're going to see that it's executing, it's generating with ChatGPT the answer. Now it's going to 11 Labs, generating voice message. Then 11 Labs is slowest, but it's going to do all of this, and then it's going to send us the reply.
The big 5 personality traits are openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism.
It worked perfectly. Now, if you want to put this behind a paywall, so people can purchase messages and pay to use this service, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. We're going to go back to scenarios. We're going to save this scenario, and then we're going to go to our folder and create a new scenario. I'm going to rename this immediately to AI Persona Payments. I also want to add that I will show you later towards the end of the video how to make this chatbot have a memory of previous messages, so you can continue conversation with each next message. But for that, we need to set up a few more things that we're going to have to set up anyways. So we're going to go to Google Sheets and create a new Google Sheet. I called it WhatsApp AI Persona Chatbot, and it's going to have phone number, messages left, and conversation history. So this is going to be the phone number of the user. That's how you identify them. The amount of messages they have remaining, and then conversation history, the memory of the previous messages, so AI can keep the conversation history as well. And we're going to actually return back to our first initial scenario. We're just going to save this payment scenario, go to our folder, and then to the first scenario. So if we want to put this behind a paywall, we're going to connect this to Google Sheets first. So when we receive a message, we're going to add a new module, and we're going to say Google Sheets. We're going to select Google Sheets, and then we are going to search rows. And you're going to create a Google connection here. If you don't have one, I already have one. And then the spreadsheet is going to be our AI Persona Chatbot WhatsApp AI Persona Chatbot. So here we want to check if the person that sent the message is registered in Google Sheets. So we're going to say sheet name is going to be sheet 1, and then filter phone number equals 2, and then the messages from. So we're going to check if the person that sent the message already has his phone number in Google Sheets. And then we're gonna say maximum return rows. It doesn't matter for now, just press OK. We're gonna move this back and we will add a router. So there are two situations. The first situation is that we're gonna set up a filter. So if he already is registered, so the filter is gonna be user exists in Google Sheets. So condition is the total number of bundles is equal to 1. He already exists, so we found one entry for that user. But there is another case, and we're gonna set up a filter. User does not exist in Google Sheets, so condition that this total number of bundles in search rows is equal to 0. And then that's okay. So after that, let's set up this part. So if the total number of bundles is equal to 0, then we're going to add the user. So we're gonna add Google Sheets, add a row, and then it's gonna be the same Google Sheets. So this WhatsApp AI persona chatbot. We're gonna select sheet name is sheet 1, and then we're gonna say phone number is going to actually be the in messages here from, and the messages left. Let's give him 5 free messages in the beginning, or let's say 10 free messages in the beginning. Conversation history will be left alone. So now if we press OK, if I run this once, wait for new data, and I'm gonna go back to my Google Sheets and I'm gonna remove this entry. So I'm not gonna exist there. I'm gonna send a message. We will go here. You'll see that it's actually gonna go down here and not here. You can see that this down part executed by this one number here. So if we go back to Google Sheets, I can see that we have another entry for my phone number and messages left 10. So we gave us 10 messages. But when it's registering the user, I also want to go here and send a message. I want to send a message and I want to say sender ID is going to be the end. If you don't see this, just turn on this and turn off this map button. And then receiver is going to be, as always, messages and then from, so whoever sent the message, and then message type will be text. I'm going to say you are successfully registered, send your first message. Now you actually can do this in a different way. You can immediately just let the AI reply. You can connect this registration immediately. Just copy this whole thing and then paste it down here, and then just like make the AI reply immediately, but there is no need to do that right now. So you would just like paste this whole thing and then just put it like here. You don't need this, you're gonna just connect it and then make the AI reply. But we're not gonna do that for now. We're just gonna send the message you are registered and that's it. So there is no need to test this, I know it works. So now, if user is registered, we want to actually subtract one message from his Google Sheet. So I'm gonna move this here, and then after the filter here, I'm gonna add a new module, and I'm gonna say Google Sheets, and then update a row, select our sheet, and then the sheet name is going to be sheet 1, and then row number is going to, I'm actually gonna go here where we searched for rows to see if the user is registered. We're also gonna get this row number variable, so that's the number of our user, and then messages left. So we're gonna actually go here into messages left that we got, and then we're gonna go to mathematics operations here and then say minus and then 1. So you cannot do this minus, you must do this from mathematics operations -1, and this is going to subtract one message from messages left and assign it to this messages left field. If I press OK, let me just see there is nothing here, okay? And what's important to tell you is the way you make multiple selection like this is you hold shift so you can select multiple things. I'm gonna press auto align here, and then I'm gonna run once, wait for new message. And so here, let me go back and test this. If I just send any kind of message, it's gonna go up. It's gonna now start generating the voice message, but if I go here and check, we subtracted one message. There was 10 messages. So if we want to sell our messages so user is able to purchase more messages, we're gonna log into Stripe, and then we're gonna go to payments here and then payment links. And it's important, you need to turn on this test mode. Click this to turn on the test mode, and then we're gonna add a new payment link, and then we're gonna add a new product. Let's say 10 messages. Description is the same. You can upload a picture if you want. I downloaded this WhatsApp logo picture. And then price will be in USD. Let's say, I don't know, $3. This is one-time payment. And then we can add the product. We can let customers adjust quantity, and we don't need to collect tax automatically. And then we can create the link. If you copy this link and you can paste it here, you can test it. Now this is a link for your customers to purchase. You're gonna just send them this link and they're gonna purchase this amount of messages. They can change amount. Okay, so I forgot to add something really important. So we're gonna go back to our payment links, and then we're gonna edit our link that we just created. And we will say require customers to provide a phone number so we can identify them with their phone number. We will copy this link and then we're gonna test it out. Now, because this is made in test mode, you're going to use test data. Now, this is not my real data, but these are testing cards. So you're gonna add this 4242424242. You're gonna use any future date as expiratory date, and then any CVC, any numbers, and then you're just gonna say pay. Yeah, it's successfully paid. But this is test mode, so nothing is actually paid. But guys, we don't want to actually just take our customers' money and then do nothing. We want to actually give them messages also. We will go back to our Stripe and we will click here developers, make sure everything is in test mode, and then we will click here onto webhooks. We're gonna add a new endpoint, and we're gonna go here to select events, and we're gonna search for checkout, and we're gonna choose this one. Checkout session completed. This event happens when you get the money. So we're gonna add this event. Now, when you get the money on Stripe, we're going to actually send this event to our make.com, and then we're gonna use make.com to add messages to Google Sheets. So endpoint URL, we need to get this URL from make.com where we will send this information to when the user pays. So we're gonna go to our scenarios on make.com. I'm gonna save this scenario, and in our folder, the one that I just created, and we're gonna actually click here and create a webhook. So we're gonna search for webhooks. So webhook is basically a link where we will send the data from Stripe. So I'm gonna go here and then create a custom webhook. Do not click this one, mail hook, but webhook, and create a webhook. And then let's say AI persona Stripe webhook. And then we're gonna click save, and we're gonna copy this address. And then we will just press OK, and we will go back to Stripe, and this will be our endpoint. Description can be whatever. Buying messages, it doesn't matter. And then we're gonna add this endpoint. So now let's test it. If we go back to payments, payment links, and we copy our link that I created, this one, 10 messages, and I'm gonna go here and do the same thing again. So I'm gonna fill in with test information, but before I press pay, I'm gonna go here and run this scenario. So now it's gonna look for the calls to this webhook. So if I press pay, we're gonna wait for a moment, and it should come here as it did. You can see number 1 here. So this is successfully paid, and then we captured all of the information here. So if we expand this data, we're gonna see also expand this object, and then we're gonna see everything here. Amount paid 300. 300 is in cents, so 300 cents, that's $3. So then we're gonna add Google Sheets. Gonna press Google Sheets and then search rows. we're gonna choose the spreadsheet that's our AI persona chatbot, and then sheet name will be sheet 1, and then filter, we're gonna search by phone number. So as I said, we collected the phone number from Stripe payments, so the phone number will be equal to data object customer details and then phone. Now the problem here is that this phone is going to be passed to us with this plus and then the phone number, but Google Sheets only needs the phone number, not this plus. So we need to remove this plus. We're gonna do this by putting this selector before the phone number and then going to, let me see, to this A sign, and then we're gonna say split, and we're gonna move this phone number into the first, so there is this bracket, so the first place we're gonna say split, and then the second place we're gonna say plus, so it's gonna split this phone number by this plus, and now I will explain how this actually works. So let's say we have a string oblivion and we want to split it by O. So this split method is made in such way that when you want to split this oblivion by O, it's going to return you an array. So it's going to return you this part without O's and then this part. So all of the parts and then without O's. So you're going to get oblivi and then also N. But since our phone number only has plus at the beginning and then there is no other pluses, we're just gonna get this phone number without this plus, and it's not gonna be array, it's gonna be a single value, or it's maybe gonna be an array with one value, but the Google Sheets module is gonna figure out, it's gonna convert that array into the phone number, proper phone number. And this is how we search our Google Sheets for this phone number, and then we're gonna add Google Sheets again and then update a row, select the same things again, and then row number is gonna be our row number from our search rows, and then messages left. So we want to add existing messages plus new messages. So for example, so for that we have to go here to this third field and then use this sum function. And then inside of that function, we cannot just say plus, we need to use this sum function. And then we will say, we will go here back, and then we're gonna say messages left, and we're gonna say comma. So we're gonna add messages left to new 10 messages. And then I'm gonna press OK. And now I'm gonna run this scenario, and I will copy this link again, and then I'm gonna do the test payment again. Make sure to insert the proper phone number and then these testing cards, and then just say pay. So this scenario should be now getting executed, it's receiving information, and as you remember, we had 9 and now we have 0, which is not good. So this was my mistake. This method, if we just hover over it, we see that it's a sum, and then we're gonna pass in array of values, or we can also call it in this way. So we pass in value 1 and then not comma, but this, I don't know what this is called in English, but this instead of comma. And value 1 and then this, and then value 2 and then this, and then etc. So not comma, but this. And now it should work properly. So let's test it again. Let me actually manually say a number of messages that I have now is 6, for example, and let's see if it's gonna add 10 messages to this when I test it. So don't forget to run the scenario here, and then let me just pay, and then it's gonna execute here. It finished, and now let's go here, and we see that we now have 16 messages. But what if you want to have kinda multiple offers, not just for them to buy 10 messages, but also 50 or 100 messages besides these 10? So you can, there are many ways you can do this, but one way, you can go here and then at our last node, instead of hard coding 10 messages, we're actually gonna say, we're gonna go down here to the webhook, and then we're gonna go here to amount total. So this has value of 300. If I just, because the amount they paid is 300 cents. If I just leave this here, it's gonna see this as 300. Oh, I wanna add previous plus 300 messages, but let's actually divide this by 30, for example. So if I go here, I need to find this one and then divide this by 30. So this is gonna be 300 divided by 30 is gonna be 10 messages. So now I can have a product of $6. It's gonna get divided by 30, so it's gonna give it 20 messages. So whatever the amount they pay, it's gonna divide by 30 and give them that amount of messages. That's one way to have different prices, for example. And you would just go here and create a new payment link. So press these payment links and then create a new payment link, add a new different product for, let's say, 20 messages, $6, and then just here you're gonna divide whatever the amount, $6 divided by 30 is gonna give them, this is gonna be 20. So you add these 20 to the messages that they already have. So we're gonna go back to our first workflow, and now, after we check that user is registered, we also need to check how many messages they have left. And if it's 0, we're gonna send them a link to buy messages. So here we're gonna add a router, and we will add another node here. I'm gonna auto align this. So filter. So if they have more than 0 messages, so condition, let's say label has messages has more than one message. Condition, it's gonna be this messages left. Let's say greater than or equal to 1. Okay, then it's gonna go up, but let's set up another filter down below. Has 0 or less messages. I don't know how it's possible for them to have less, maybe some, I don't know, but let's just say, let's be sure, and then say messages left less than or equal to 0. And then if this is true, then we are going to send a text message, and we're gonna send them the link to purchase more messages. Sender ID is gonna be this, receiver ID we're gonna scroll down, and then message, and then from, and then message type text, and then we can say you have 0 messages left. We're gonna go back and copy this link for 10 messages, and I'm gonna say you can purchase 10 messages here, and then press OK. I go to Google Sheets and send my messages to 0 purposefully so I can test this. So I'm gonna run this once, wait for new data. We're gonna go to WhatsApp. Yeah, I already tested it, it works, but I'm gonna just show it now to you. It's gonna send this link, and you can open it, and then you can buy new messages. So let's actually test this as well. But after you send this, you need to actually save this. And we need to go back and enable our scenario to run like permanently. So this should be on permanently, and now it's just gonna work always. You don't need to just say run once every time. And now we're gonna go here and submit this payment, and we're just gonna see that our messages increase to 10. And at the end, we're gonna give memory of previous messages, conversation history, to our chatbot. So here in this second ChatGPT module, when you are telling ChatGPT relevant document text user question, we can also add past conversation, and then we're gonna we're gonna choose conversation history. And now it's gonna also pass the conversation history. But besides this, we also need to add the conversation history, so it's gonna add that to Google Sheets every time the conversation step ends. So at the end here, we're gonna create a new OpenAI and then chat completion. So we are going to generate like a conversation history using this module, and then we are going to update it in update row in Google Sheets. So to go here, we are going to choose the model. As I said, this one is the best, and then add a message, role system, create a conversation summary in 2 sentences. And we're going to add a new message, and we're going to say user, or let's actually say previous summary. You can do this in any way you want, but this is the previous summary. We're going to scroll down and say conversation history or previous history, whatever you want. And then we're going to say, we can literally say new message, new user message. And then we're going to pass in the user question. So that's messages, and then text, and then body. New AI response, and then we're going to pass in the AI response that is in choices, messages, and then content. I'm just going to say keep the important information in so we can have a good informed continuous conversation. And then we don't actually need this user at all message. I'm just going to paste everything here, then press OK. And then here in update rows, we're going to choose our spreadsheet. And then we're going to say row number. We're going to go down here and then say row number. And then just this conversation history. We're going to actually go to this newest, so not to this the before one, but this latest one. We're going to say choices, messages, content. And then we're going to say OK. And now let's test this. I'm going to press run once. Currently the conversation history is empty, but that doesn't matter. I'm just going to say explain extra version. And if we take a look at this, it's doing what it needs to do. Generating voice message. 11 laps will always take a bit more. It's going to take the longest. Now we got the message. It sent the message here, a voice message. And then it's going to generate the conversation history. And let's go here and check. Extraversion is a personality trait characterized by outgoing, energetic, etc. I want to actually improve this conversation summary prompt. So we're going to go here, and I added create a conversation summary up until this point using previous summary and the new messages. Explain who did what before and now, so we can continue the conversation. And once I made a prompt like this, it actually worked a lot better. The user previously asked the AI to explain neuroticism, which the AI did by describing it as a personality. So this is all true. I was testing a few times. This is exactly what I did. So this prompt works a lot better for conversation summary. Now, if you want to learn to do this all by yourself, you can join our course, and we will help you either learn to do this all by yourself and learn to do any other kind of functionality that you want and add it in this chatbot, or make any kind of other chatbot by yourself. You can also download the template for this at our course. So schedule a call with me below where we will talk about our course, or just go and purchase a subscription on our website and introduce yourself in our community. Here you can see what courses we have: AI persona, chatbot website, automationmake.com, BotPress, Chainlit, knowledge-based chat, JavaScript course, AI research and engineering. I'm adding courses daily. If we click here to community, and we can see, for example, this thread where this course member was asking questions, and they were also having some issues for AI automation for lead generation, where they would be scraping the web and then automatically classifying and editing things with ChatGPT inside of Google Sheets. So I made this video explaining how to do that process, and I'm here to answer all of the questions, and I'm training also more instructors who are going to be qualified to answer the questions and help all of you grow and all of you teach what you need to teach for AI automation, AI engineering, entrepreneurship, anything you want to learn. If you click down below to my calendar link where you can schedule a call with me, you can read exactly who I am and what I'm teaching in my course and what we will get you in my course. Learn to build any AI app possible with current technology. We are continuously adding lessons where you can learn absolutely everything about chatbots, BotPress, VoiceFlow, LangChain, custom requested AI personas, Make.com, Zapier, any other code or no-code automation tool, web scraping, coding, JavaScript, Python, websites, vector databases, OpenAI API, GPT, custom requests, machine learning, neural networks, transformers. More lessons are added weekly to all of these and new topics. My name is Vuk and I've been coding for 10 years and working with AI since 2020. When GPT first came out, I am absolutely confident in my qualifications to teach all aspects of this course. We will also all be part of a community where we can make posts and comments and help each other learn as a community. Currently, it's 40% discount for only $2.99 per month. As long as you see this, there is going to be a discount. Who is it for? This course is designed for everyone eager to master AI entrepreneurship, whether you're a completely new to AI and coding or a seasoned Google engineer. We cater to a different range of learners, making AI entrepreneurship accessible to all. And then if we scroll a bit down below, we're gonna see what you'll learn. These are also other things you will learn. These are some also projects. So if you are interested, you can schedule a call with me or you can purchase the subscription and learn to build any kind of AI app you can imagine with today's technology. Thank you for watching.